Imagine this. A quiet moment at the Red Sea Film Fest suddenly turns electric when Johnny Depp steps into the spotlight and comes face to face with a Bollywood superstar. Cameras flash, fans gasp, and within seconds the clip starts racing across the internet. No rehearsed poses, no scripted smiles, just two worlds colliding in real time. What really happened between them, why this meeting mattered so much, and how a single interaction turned into a global viral moment is something no one saw coming. Stay with me, because this story is far deeper, more human, and more surprising than the headlines suggest. The atmosphere at the Red Sea Film Fest was already charged with anticipation long before the unexpected moment unfolded. The venue shimmered with soft lights, the sea breeze carried a quiet elegance, and conversations floated in a mix of languages, accents, and cinematic dreams. Filmmakers, actors, critics, and fans moved through the space with a shared understanding that this festival was not just about films, but about moments that could only happen here. No one, however, predicted how quickly an ordinary evening would transform into something unforgettable. Johnny Depp arrived with his usual understated presence, dressed with effortless style, walking not like a larger-than-life Hollywood icon but like an artist observing the world around him. There was no rush in his steps, no hunger for attention. He paused often, greeting people with warmth, exchanging smiles, sometimes leaning in to listen closely, as if every interaction mattered. That calm energy followed him into the main hall, where flashes of cameras briefly lit the space, then faded as he took his seat. Across the room, a Bollywood star had also just arrived, drawing admiration from fans who recognized the face instantly. Years of iconic roles, emotional performances, and massive fan followings had made this actor a symbol of Indian cinema's global reach. Yet in this setting, there was no sense of hierarchy, only mutual respect. The star moved gracefully, acknowledging greetings with folded hands and gentle nods, embodying a mix of humility and confidence that resonated deeply with everyone watching. The moment itself did not begin with drama. There was no announcement, no spotlight shifting suddenly. It started quietly, almost accidentally, when their paths crossed near the seating area. A brief pause, a glance of recognition, and then a smile. That single smile was enough to change the energy in the room. People nearby sensed something special was happening, even before phones were lifted and whispers spread. Johnny Depp extended his hand first, his expression open and genuinely curious. The Bollywood star responded instantly, returning the gesture with warmth and respect. For a few seconds, the noise around them seemed to fade. They spoke softly, leaning slightly toward each other, sharing words that cameras could not capture but expressions clearly conveyed. There was admiration in their eyes, the kind that comes from recognizing another artist's journey without needing an introduction. What followed was not a stiff exchange of formalities, but a relaxed conversation filled with laughter and subtle gestures. Johnny Depp nodded as he listened, occasionally chuckling, while the Bollywood star spoke with animated hands, clearly passionate and engaged. Their body language told a story of equals meeting, not as representatives of different industries, but as storytellers who understood the weight and beauty of cinema. Someone in the audience captured a short clip, just a few seconds long, but it was enough. The video showed the handshake, the smiles, the shared laugh, and the ease between them. Within minutes, that clip began circulating online. At first, it stayed within fan circles, shared with captions full of excitement and disbelief. Then it crossed borders, appearing on timelines around the world, sparking conversations in multiple languages. People were not just reacting to the presence of two famous figures in one frame. They were reacting to the emotion. There was something deeply human about the interaction, something refreshing in its simplicity. In an age where celebrity encounters are often choreographed and calculated, this felt spontaneous and sincere. Viewers could sense that this was not about publicity, but about genuine appreciation. As the festival continued, whispers about the meeting spread through the venue. Guests leaned toward each other, replaying the clip on their phones, pointing out small details. Some noticed the way Johnny Depp tilted his head while listening, a sign of respect. Others focused on the Bollywood star's smile, wide and unguarded, revealing a moment of pure joy. These observations fueled the viral nature of the moment as fans dissected every frame. Social media platforms quickly filled with reactions. Fans from Hollywood celebrated Johnny Depp's continued presence on the global stage, while Bollywood fans expressed pride in seeing their star receive recognition from an international icon. Many posts spoke about unity, about how cinema transcends language and geography. The meeting became a symbol, not just a viral clip. Industry insiders also took notice. Directors, producers, and critics commented on how such interactions highlight the evolving nature of global cinema. Collaborations that once seemed distant now felt possible, even inevitable. The Red Sea Film Fest itself gained renewed attention, praised for creating a space where such organic cultural exchanges could happen. Behind the scenes, both stars continued their evening without drawing further attention to the moment. There were no follow-up photo ops, no official statements released immediately. And perhaps that restraint made the moment even more powerful. It belonged to the audience, to the fans who felt they had witnessed something rare and authentic. As hours passed, the clip's reach expanded. News outlets picked it up, writing articles that speculated about what was said, what it could mean, and why it resonated so deeply. Some headlines focused on the star power, others on the symbolism. But beneath all interpretations was a simple truth: people were moved by seeing respect and curiosity shared so openly. The festival night eventually came to an end, lights dimmed and guests departed, but the energy of that encounter lingered. For many, it became the defining memory of the event. Long after the seats were empty and the red carpets rolled away, the image of that handshake and shared smile continued to circulate, reminding viewers why cinema holds such power. This was not just about Johnny Depp meeting a Bollywood star. It was about two journeys intersecting for a brief moment, creating a spark that traveled far beyond the walls of the venue. It was about the magic that happens when art connects people without effort, without language barriers, and without expectation. And as the internet continued to replay that moment again and again, one thing became clear: sometimes the smallest interactions leave the biggest impact. As the clip continued to travel across screens, something interesting began to happen. Viewers were no longer just watching a celebrity interaction, they were projecting their own feelings onto it. For some, it represented validation, a sign that Bollywood had firmly claimed its place on the global stage. For others, it was proof that Johnny Depp, despite everything he had faced in recent years, still carried the respect and curiosity of artists across the world. That emotional layering is what pushed the moment beyond simple virality. Many fans replayed the video slowly, frame by frame, trying to read lips, interpret expressions, and imagine the words exchanged. Theories appeared everywhere. Some believed they spoke about films, others imagined a conversation about music, art, or even life beyond cinema. But what mattered more than the actual words was the tone. It felt relaxed, genuine, and free of ego. That alone made people feel closer to both figures, as if they had been invited into a private, honest exchange. Within industry circles, the moment sparked quieter but equally meaningful conversations. Producers whispered about possibilities, directors spoke about dreams of cross-cultural storytelling, and writers imagined scripts that could bring such diverse talents together. Nothing official was announced, nothing was promised, yet the idea alone was enough to excite people. Sometimes inspiration does not need contracts, it only needs a spark. The Red Sea Film Fest itself became part of the story. Many who had never paid close attention to it before now searched for its history, its mission, and its growing influence. They discovered a festival positioning itself as a bridge between East and West, North and South, creating space for voices from different cultures to meet without hierarchy. The viral moment felt like proof that this vision was working. Fans on both sides began sharing old interviews, past performances, and memorable scenes. Johnny Depp's characters were revisited, from the quiet and mysterious to the wildly eccentric. Alongside that, iconic Bollywood roles resurfaced, reminding audiences of emotional depth, dance, drama, and scale unique to Indian cinema. Timelines turned into celebrations of storytelling itself, fueled by one simple meeting. What stood out most was the absence of controversy. In an online world often driven by conflict and negativity, this moment brought people together. Comment sections filled with positivity, admiration, and excitement rather than arguments. People spoke about art, respect, and shared humanity. That tone shift was rare, and many noticed it. Behind the viral wave, both artists continued their work. Johnny Depp attended screenings, spoke to filmmakers, and supported emerging voices with quiet encouragement. The Bollywood star did the same, engaging in thoughtful discussions and representing an industry that thrives on emotion and connection. Neither tried to capitalize on the viral moment directly, which only strengthened its authenticity. As days passed, the clip did not fade the way most viral content does. Instead, it settled into a kind of cultural memory. It was referenced in discussions about global cinema, used in video essays about representation, and mentioned whenever conversations turned toward meaningful celebrity moments. It became a point of reference, a shorthand for what genuine interaction looks like. Some fans spoke about how the moment made them feel hopeful that art could still unite people, that respect could exist without competition, and that cultural exchange did not have to be forced. Others said it reminded them why they fell in love with cinema in the first place, because of its ability to connect souls across borders. There was also a quieter impact, less visible but equally powerful. Aspiring actors and filmmakers watched the clip and felt encouraged. Seeing two established artists meet with humility sent a message that no matter how far one goes, curiosity and respect remain essential. That lesson resonated deeply with those just starting their journeys. As the story continued to be shared, it evolved. Some edits added music, others slowed it down, some paired it with quotes about art and unity. Each version carried the same core emotion but reached different audiences. The moment adapted, just like stories always do, finding new meanings and new contexts. Eventually, interviews began to touch on the encounter, not in detail, not with dramatic revelations, but with gentle acknowledgments. Smiles, brief comments, and expressions of mutual respect. Nothing was over-explained, and that restraint allowed the audience to keep ownership of the moment, to feel it belonged to them as much as to the artists involved. Looking back, it becomes clear why this meeting mattered so much. It was not planned as a headline, not designed as a marketing move. It was simply two people recognizing each other's work, standing on common ground shaped by years of storytelling. That simplicity is what made it powerful. In a world saturated with content, authenticity stands out. This moment at the Red Sea Film Fest stood out because it did not try to be anything more than it was. No exaggerated gestures, no loud declarations, just a handshake, a smile, and a conversation. And somehow, that was enough to remind millions why stories, and the people who tell them, still matter. As the viral wave slowly transformed into lasting appreciation, one truth remained clear. Cinema is not defined by borders, languages, or industries. It is defined by connection. And in that brief encounter, captured in a few seconds of video, that connection was visible, undeniable, and deeply felt. If this story moved you, inspired you, or simply made you smile, don't let it end here. Support real cinema moments by liking this video, sharing it with someone who loves films, and joining this community that celebrates authentic art beyond borders. Your engagement helps more genuine stories reach the world instead of noise. Comment your thoughts below and tell us what this meeting meant to you. And most importantly, subscribe for more powerful, real, and emotional stories from the world of cinema that remind us why storytelling still matters.